Today for our handover, we've got the Autosleeper Symbol Plus, a 6 metre all the way up from the Cotswolds. We're going to begin just inside the cab. You've got a passenger seat up on this side, and beneath that you've got your vehicle toolkit. We've taken the battery carpet out to straight where the engine battery goes. Your bonnet release is up on the end of the dashboard. Fuel filler cap systems, it's not affected by the central locking. Ignition key in, turn it anti-clockwise and cap out. There's a little hanger at the bottom of the door if you want to use it. And below that you've got your AdBlue system. AdBlue is monitored by the dashboard. Go under the bonnet, pull up on the tab, just underneath the Peugeot badge. Over on the extreme left-hand side, you've got your screen wash, and then your radiator, brake fluid and power steering fluid. Oil filler and the dipstick is down the front of the engine block. If you ever need to jump start the vehicle, then there's a lift up cap over on the right hand side for the positive, and the negative just goes onto the bolt fitting just there. On the driver's side, you have a gas port system, so there's a turnout cap. Gas nozzle goes into there and it fills up an underslung tank. Mains cable goes alongside. I always recommend that you connect to the side of the van first of all and then connect into your sight post. You've got access to the actual main tank underneath and an isolation point which is located within the middle of the vehicle. When you come underneath the vehicle, you can access a service panel which is connected to the tank. Sometimes ferry operators, if you're going onto the continent, will ask you to isolate the gas supply, or if you're worried or have concerns about the gas supply, and this is what they're expecting you to do, is turn the dial all the way clockwise to turn the gas supply off, obviously turn it anti-clockwise to turn the gas back on, and obviously then to act as a protector you've got this heat shield. It can be a little bit fiddly to locate back in, so make sure that it's nice and secure, and then you're ready for the road. We've got some alternative methods for water connection. So supplied with this Autosleeper comes a whale fitting, which is a square cap fitting which is designed to go straight onto a fresh water supply, and it enables you to solo fill up the water. Alternatively, you've got a conventional water filler cap which you can use with a food grade hose to go into the water supply, and that goes into an underslung tank. Both of them will feed onto the water heater. Adjacent, we've got one additional feature here, which is the 12 volt and also an external aerial mount as well. Further back down the vehicle and slung up underneath the sills, you've got a blue and a grey water waste pipe, which are connected up onto with some spring clips. Open these taps for discharging your grey water, which is the water from the shower tray, the vanity unit and the kitchen sink. Obviously at the end of the season, make sure that you drain your fresh water supply down to protect against frost. So you've got fridge vents on the driver's side. These come with what we call winter covers. These serve two purposes. For winter storage, they're an effective way of protecting any muck or debris from getting into the vents. Stops any accumulation. In extreme weather conditions, if you're operating the van with below daytime temperatures as well as nighttime below temperatures, then it enables the heat to get trapped into the back of the fridge, which actually improves the performance of the fridge. But for general use, both winter covers need to come off like so, and that gives you an adequate then flow of ventilation around. Make sure that you don't use them in the height of summer because you can end up warping or distorting the covers. To refit, in from the bottom and then clip into the top like so, and the same with the top one as well. When we open up the back of the vehicle, simple pluses, you're confronted with a panel which goes right the way across. You've got your awning handle down on the right hand side. Underneath this unit you've got your water heater. Water heater itself has got a drain tap on it for winter storage, so at the moment it's in the open position, allowing the content of the water heater to drain out. To close it off and reset it ready for use, you'll need to turn it away from you, and it's indicated by a tap and an X position. One of a number of isolator taps for the gas system. So on the gas tank itself, it's got a crash protection system, but if you wanted to individually isolate supplies to appliances, then you can turn the taps through 90 degrees to shut those supplies off. Finally, at the back of the van, you've got your toilet cassette. So the flush water on this comes directly from your onboard tank. So with the slider shut inside, you should be able to draw the whole cassette body out, extend the grey neck outwards, remove the blue cap altogether, and then when you're pressing on the blue button, that should allow then all of the waste to discharge. Up here in the Highlands, we always recommend that you use the green chemical. So a cap full of the green, or the sachets, or the new pods, mixed with about 2 litres of water. Give it a little swirl around before you load it back in, and it locks back into position, ready for use. You've got an external gas barbecue point here. The fitting at the moment is tethered in, but the idea being obviously that goes up into that brass fitting and obviously then down onto your appliance and turn the gas tap on to get the gas up from the gas tank. So you have a 12-volt control panel which is located above the sliding door. It has a touchscreen facility, so when you tap on onto the switches, then you'll see your lights and other 12-volt functions come on. We've got this van drained down at the moment of water because of the current cold weather spell that we're going through. So when I select the pump, you'll likely see an indicator come up just like that, telling you that you're low on water. So we'll acknowledge that one. We can actually show what waste or fresh water supplies that are in the vehicle. Press the home button to take you back. And you can also monitor the battery level and vehicle battery level conditions. Shows you any input that's coming in or export that's coming in or out of the vehicle. There's a solar panel on this one as well. Press the home screen and it will take you back to that front page. Top right hand switch is on at the moment because that gives us access to our interior lights, and you've got a separate switch for the outside awning light. We're choosing to use the leisure battery at the moment for demonstration, but you can access the panel and allow it to use to change it over and charge up on the vehicle battery. Go into the settings option, and there are a number of functions that you can change, but this also includes the smart battery setup, so you can dictate which battery is receiving power from either the mains or from the solar panel. There's an automatic tank fill system that you can use if you want to use a submersible on the outside, and you've also got tank heaters for winter use for both the fresh water and wastewater. There are other settings that you can set up and change, such as the time and dates and clocks, etc. We'll concentrate on the simple stuff for this handover. This symbol is fitted with a Whale water heating and room heating systems. They're two separate units. We've already shown you where the drain valve is located for the water heater. Cold weather means that we've actually left the system drained down, but we can still illustrate how the systems work. So for the water heating setting, it assumes that we've already primed the water system through. We've got that constant flow through. Pressing on this button here, and you can change between a choice of either gas or electrical settings for the water heater use. On the lower level, you've got the ability to switch between, again, electric and gas for your room heating. With the room heating, you've also got a plus and a minus for increasing or decreasing the temperature. So you can put it down to a nighttime mode or even a frost mode if you're going out for the day during colder weather. You might get a little symbol come up here, a little exclamation mark if there's a fault on the unit. The reset on these is to press the top water heater button there and the plus symbol simultaneously, and that usually clears the fault. Common one is that you have turned off the 12-volt control panel before you turned off the water heater. That often throws up that fault code. Otherwise, check gas and electric. Follow the instructions in the handbooks if you're uncertain, or ask your local dealer. So you've got a three-way fridge on this model. Press and hold in for a couple of seconds and all of the display briefly lights up. You can choose between the output settings by using this touchscreen symbol on here. So the A mode indicates automatic. It will self-select between gas, electric and 12 volt. You can override and go into a pure mains mode, or battery, or gas. The battery mode, just to make clear, is operating off of your engine battery when your ignition is live and the engine is running. So it's flashing now, indicating that there's a fault, and that's because we haven't got the engine running. All the 12-volt system will do is maintain the temperature within the fridge. It's working on the assumption that you've already chilled the fridge either on gas or on mains. I'll put it back to the gas mode briefly, just to illustrate thermostat control. The more of these squares are illuminated, the colder the fridge will become. To turn the appliance off, hold it in for a couple of seconds, and that should cancel out and switch off the unit. So in the back, in the kitchen area, you have a mains operated microwave. There's a power switch above the appliance which you can use to turn on. Set your power settings by pressing the power button, so you can set obviously up to a maximum of 100 output. You can adjust the time settings in seconds or in minutes, and obviously then just press your start then to start the function up. This version is a plateless example, so you have a bed plate that's just inside for your meals to sit on for cooking. With your cooker and hob, you need to make sure that the lid is up, and for the gas operation it's an electronic igniter which will then engage your gas supply. There's no isolators on these lids, so make sure that the appliance has cooled down thoroughly before you drop the lid down, otherwise you'll cause the gas to explode. It's a similar story with the operation of the oven and grill. Either turn it clockwise for your oven use, or turn it anti-clockwise for the grill operation. For your toilet cassette operation, it's a Thetford model, so you have a lever which you pull across to let your waste go through. Afterwards, to flush the toilet down, press down onto the blue button at the back, and that will allow fresh water to come up from your fresh tank and clean around the inside of the bowl. And then close your lever over afterwards, so you can smell the odours coming back through. There's a gauge over at the back which gradually will go from green to red as the cassette gets progressively more full. As well as your 12-volt lighting, which is touch operated in the bathroom, you also have an extractor fan which you can use when you're having a shower, just to draw some of the moisture and condensation out of the van. So a little secret about Symbol Pluses is that they have a folding partition door within them. So open up the wardrobe vanity door first of all, make sure that this flap is folded back out, and then use the wardrobe door to close across, and it just gives you a segregated area from the bathroom into the main living space if you want to use it as an extension of the washroom and the bathroom. Feature of this is you've also got a vanity light, and above it you've got your television aerial as well as a main socket into the back of the cupboard. When you go underneath the bed box, you've got your 12-volt and mains control switches. This switch here works in conjunction with the control panel to enable you to turn on the 12-volt supply within the van. You've got a bank of 12-volt fuses which then run across there. If there's a fault or an indication that there's going to be a fault with a fuse, then instead of having a green light at one end, you'll see a red light actually come on, signifying which fuse is at fault. Replace accordingly. Mains operation of the control panel is done on the other side. So at the moment the system is switched off and shut down. Connect to the side of your van first of all, connect to the power supply you're going to be using. Up on the master switch, you can do a circuit breaker test to make sure that the supply is safe for you to use. And you can then come across then on the individual switches, and that brings the main supply on. In areas where there might be reverse polarity, perhaps if you're onto the continent, you might get an indicator light come on there. You've got a separate switch for the battery charger, so all the time we're plugging onto mains, it's trickle charging into the battery that's been selected. And if you want to use the water heating or room heating system on mains electric, then you'll need to make sure that the amber switch is selected there. There's a bank of fuses to the right of the control panel. In essence, these link the front half of the vehicle to the rear. Occasionally they need some maintenance. If the vehicle hasn't been used for a while, we've sometimes found that the vehicle fuse can sometimes blow, so that will need to be replaced in those instances. Bed arrangement in a Symbol Plus can be set up as 2 single beds or as a double. If you're wanting to set it up as a single behind the driver's seat, make sure the driver's seat is pushed all the way forward. There's a thin board with a solid back which goes into this section here, and that gives you then your full extension when you remove the backrest. For the single bed on the passenger side, you'll need to make sure that you've pulled the seat lever all the way down, extend all of the cushions out and lie them flat, and that gives you your single bed. This is a new van, so the upholstery is still a little bit springy, so it'll probably pop up as soon as I let go, just like so. If you want to set this up as a double bed, pull forward on the slats, draw the slats all the way across, take your infill cushions, which are separately within the van, and roll your backrest into position and push down nice and firmly. Again, it's new upholstery, so it's never going to cooperate the first time round, and you end up with your double bed, like so. Here, turning our attention to the cab, you've got blinds in the front, so squeeze the tabs in, gently pull them across. They've got a magnetic strip against the front of the pillar, and then your cab windows draw together with a little cutout around them for the rear view mirror. So over on the driver's side, you've got on the driver's door, you've got electric mirror controls and electric window controls. You've got an air ride style system that's mounted into the back. This has two individual chambers that are mounted adjacent to the leaf springs. These can be inflated by unscrewing these caps and using a small pump. The compressor pumps on these are redundant. The low and high is your gas tank indicator. When the ignition is on, you'll see a succession of red and green lights light up as that comes across. So with your Peugeot setup, you have steering wheel controls for the speakers and for the phone onto here, and then your light controls, bezels for side lights, dipped headlights and main beam, as well as your indicators. And then below that, your speed limiter and cruise control. Over on the right hand side, you've got your wiper controls as well. There's an isolator switch for the radio head unit, and with the ignition on and the vehicle engaged in reverse, it also becomes your reversing camera as well. Your central controls include the ability to shut off the ASR system if that's required, if you're maybe pulling away on a slippery surface. You have a central locking control as well as your heated wing mirrors. Normal ventilation controls, so the speed and temperature of your fan, the direction of airflow in either via outside or recirculatory, and then your direction internally within the vehicle, directing from feet, face and up towards the windscreen. So that concludes our handover for this Autosleepers Symbol Plus. I sincerely hope that you've been able to gain a lot of information from it. On behalf of Highland Camper Vans, thank you very much for watching.